What's up, peoples? Welcome back to SeeTheseCDs, where in each one of these videos I take a closer look at a select CD from my own personal collection and highlight its overall cover artwork, graphic design, and packaging of the CD. If you haven't already figured it out, in this video we're going to be covering the 2017 CD, Rick Ross's Rather You Than Me. More specifically, it came out March 17, 2017, and it clocks in at just over an hour at 62 minutes and 51 seconds. It was released under Maybach Music Group and Epic Records, which is a subsidiary of Sony Music. The visuals for this CD was handled by a collective of artists. The art direction and design was specifically credited to a graphic designer by the name of Olivia Smith, who has worked with a lot of chart-topping artists such as Jamie Foxx, Pitbull, and DJ Khaled. She's also worked on the cover art and design for the Hunger Games soundtrack and things like The Walking Dead Volume 1. So I mean, she definitely has a pretty decent of substantial resume. I noticed. I don't know if she specifically works with Miami people, but I did see, like I said, Pitbull. I know Young Money isn't Miami based, but Lil Wayne is he likes Miami a lot. He's often down there. He has a lot of connections to them. So she works with a lot of Miami artists, but just a lot of chart topping artists, like I said, and just big names, big productions. For the creative director, that was handled by or credited to Anita Marisa Boniboon, which she has a lot of work under her belt with hip hop acts. Some of the people she's assisted with or either handled graphic design or packaging for the CD is Missy Elliott, Fabulous, Nate Dogg, some pretty great substantial names, even dating back and from other genres like Sean Paul, which I know that's not too far outside of the reach of hip hop, but then also with Britney Spears. She's worked on a few of Britney Spears projects as well, years back. So once again, she also has a pretty substantial resume. The photography was by Brainwash, which he's worked with the likes of Madonna, Michael Jackson, Wyclef, the Chili Peppers, all iconic names we're mentioning. Each one of these acts have dealt with, or these artists have dealt with. So Rick Ross really assembled a pretty solid collective when it came to the visuals, and I think that shows in the overall CD artwork. For styling, it's Talia Coles, which if you want to look a little bit more into her, I just figured I'd mention that because he does have some pretty lavish outfits, as you're going to see in just a moment. If we want to focus on the CD cover, it's just Rick Ross. His hands together as if he's praying, smoke coming out of his mouth, glasses on, with some crazy looking fur, crazy jewelry, and he's got that crown on because he's a boss, I guess. In the back, this is usually the theme of the background. The majority of the CD, it's a lot of graffiti. It's as you can see, it's his name or the title of the project. If we want to go around back, it's another picture of Rick Ross in a fur. This picture kind of is a little bit reminiscent of this R. Kelly cover. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. I have to go back and check it out. But it's R. Kelly staring directly at the camera with the the big frames on and see-through glasses and see-through lenses, I should say. And he's got a big fur on. It just reminds me of that. I don't know. But a similar theme with the graffiti in the background. Rick Ross with the white fur. Glasses, crown, just like before. We have the track listing on the left-hand side if we're facing it. I'll get a closer shot of that. Just focus right there. And we have some just more I guess credits. In this lower corner, executive produced by Rick Ross, the boss Rick Ross. That's funny. Not to demean his bossness, but it's just funny that they had to add the boss Rick Ross. I wonder if that's because how I don't know if you guys are aware that Drake, if he has production credits, usually he'll go by Champagne Poppy, whatever the hell that is. But I wonder if that's similar with the boss Rick Ross thing. But so if we want to open up the CD, just to get the first impression, once you open it, not taking apart the booklet just yet. On the front cover, it's like it's similar with the the whole graffiti writing for the title as well as Rick Ross's name. But it's in pink instead. I don't know if that's to match the aesthetic, or I'm assuming it does go with the aesthetic of, if you look on the left-hand side of the cover booklet, he's got, it's more of like a burgundy, but it is similar to the hue of the typography on the CD. If we pop the CD out, you can see the graphic behind it, which is just a continuation of, the theme like I was mentioning before, with the graffiti, rather you than me, Rick Ross, so on and so forth. I'll show you the back of the CD, even though it's pretty basic, pretty, similar to the other CDs we've saw. And I think we're going to crack that book open and check that out. So let's go ahead and do that. Right in, what is that? I mean, I assume it's a Maybach, huh? Maybach music. But yeah, this is a more, it's not one of those in the other videos how the booklets unfold in all these different ways. This is just a simple booklet, nothing wrong with that. Some very interesting photographs. Like I said once before, it was done by Brainwash. Whereas this one, you got the graffiti background. I think it looks really cool. It's almost similar to like a Basquiat or something like that in the back. Once again, Rick Ross and some crazy lavish clothing sitting on what I would assume is a Maybach once again. And then we have the album credits. Simple, white background, black text. I'll kind of let me try to eliminate some of that glare, and just so I can scroll through that if you want to check that out. I don't know if anybody wants to, for whatever reason, read this stuff, but just in case, you never know. And we'll go to the next page, reversed or inverted, black background, white text, more of the credits. We got another pic of Rick Ross, which I wonder, like earlier when I was taking a look at this, I did wonder if that's like Big Baller Brand. I can't remember if I was like aware of Big Baller Brand in 2017, but I know a lot of these guys, like, they try and be like up on stuff before everybody else, so it makes sense if I didn't know about it. And then there's this picture of him, in the front with the Bel Air bottles, standing in front of the Maybach. I think that bandana is really cool. I don't know if if we can get a closer shot of that. It's like some crazy lavish looking material. Yeah, really cool bandana, like I was saying before, and full picture or full frame of the Maybach, Rick Ross standing in front of it. The next page is it actually features Brainwash. He's the man that's laughing, standing next to Rick Ross, laughing. He's the, like I said before, he's the guy who did all the photography, or the photographer responsible for each of the photos for this booklet, as far as like the whole packaging, cover art design of Rather You Than Me. Then it continues with like more of the songs and the credits. Like I said before, flip-flopping between like black background, white text, then white background, black text. So there's some of the songs right there. I'll get more of a still shot, just in case anybody wants to read those for whatever reason, like I said before. And then the last page, you just have like thank yous for the most part, made by Rick Ross, which would seem to like anybody who had anything to do with the production of the CD. Makes sense. Kind of makes me wonder if like anybody read this and then thought like, oh, what about me? It's like they thought they did something or something like that. But it's just a random thought. Then you got like more of the credits for like the labels and whatnot at the bottom. And then on this side you just got Rick Ross, like kind of like waving. I don't know if he's saying like thank you for listening to the CD, the album, so on and so forth. But yeah, that was Rather You Than Me. Rick Ross is Rather You Than Me, to be more specific. The CD cover, it's somewhat basic. It doesn't like the packaging doesn't really do anything to elicit like interaction with the fan or anything like that. But it serves its purpose. I mean, I don't really have any problem with like the aesthetic. I think it's nice. It's very high quality, very simple. But at the same time, it does do a little bit more than the typical, or it is eye catching. So yeah, that was Rather You Than Me, like I said before, by Rick Ross. This is See These CDs. Tune in next time for the next video as we take a deeper look into CD cover artwork, packaging, and design. Like I said, See These CDs. I'm out.